And welcome everyone to an off-season chat with new Colorado State head coach Ali Farokhmanesh. And Ali, what I loved about your hire was it actually made sense, and nothing had to change much at CSU. It was what should happen. That doesn't always happen. Why do you think it worked out the way it did?
I think just being here for 7 years, and Nico also giving me that much experience over the last 3 seasons specifically, more responsibilities, more decisions that I had to make and whatnot. It really prepared me to feel ready for the job. And I give him a ton of credit for putting me in those positions to feel prepared, but also letting the administration know, letting our donors and boosters in the community kind of know that hey, like he's ready for this next step. So I mean, ton of credit to Nico for putting me in that position and making me feel comfortable, but also everybody in the community and the administration feeling comfortable with this is going to be the right decision.
A lot of big things happening in Colorado State, obviously. The move after this season in the Mountain West. But again, this is a program that has had great success. Um, Different head coaches have moved on, but they didn't always hire an assistant. Um, but like I said, I don't think you were like the traditional assistant from somewhere else. It's just really passing the baton. What was it about how he empowered you over the last 7 years? To put you in a position where you were ready for this.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what Nico's done in his career with Bob Ritchie at Furman. Obviously, I have this opportunity now. He's got another assistant that's now the head coach at Wofford. So it's kind of funny. Nico's got a little bit of a coaching tree growing right now. But in terms of like making the decisions on the offensive end of the floor, like making those playing calls, and it got to a point where basically whatever I was writing, he was already thinking too. So we just were on the same page. And I think that started off, and then just I still remember like at the conference tournament, we're getting ready to play Boise State, and he tells me he wants to go up and talk to all the boosters upstairs and all our crowd right before the game. And he told me he's got a bunch of interviews he's got to do, and I get ready to go up there, and he's just sitting there, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you said you got interviews, but you're just sitting in the locker room. And he sent me upstairs, and he kind of winks at me, and like those moments, like I knew like that was part of him thinking like, hey, like this is preparing you for the next step. He didn't necessarily know what was going to happen going forward, but all those little moments added up, and he put me in position to be successful, and also gave me calm and peace knowing that like, okay, I've already done these things, so it's not this big jump in position. This isn't all brand new. There's some things I don't know what I don't know yet. But a lot of the stuff that's happened over the last 3 months, 4 months of getting the job, I was prepared for and had a good feel of how to handle it or what I was getting myself into.
So I love what you just said there because I think this is a great sort of learning lesson for other younger assistant coaches of getting out of that bubble, meeting the donors, making sure that you know everyone in that athletic department, so that if this opportunity arises, I don't care if you're on the men's staff, women's staff, whatever, you're right there and people feel comfortable with you. What did you do, during this time where you got out of the gym, out of the offices, so that you could basically, have this comfort level and build credibility with the different stakeholders in the program?
Yeah, and I think that's what you do over the last 7 years, right? From being here. It wasn't just like 2 months before think Nico's leaving to go somewhere else, I started talking to people. These are relationships that I've built over 7 years, and just being in the program and Nico always pushing us to get involved and have our hands in every part of the program. I think as a young assistant, you have responsibilities, and I had specific things I was in charge of first. And once you take care of those and do those at the highest level, well, now how many different areas can you get involved with? Can you figure out how to get involved with scheduling? Can you figure out how to get involved more with recruiting, with the players, with donors? How do you create more of a community environment? All those aspects of a program and how they're run. I think that's as a young assistant, you gotta try to get involved with. The more things that you know or have a good feel for, it just allows you to be prepared to take the next step because you don't know what jobs out there or what positions are needed or what somebody might need from you. But if you have expertise in this area and whatnot, and you've touched everything, well, there's a lot of jobs that open up for you. It's just like our players. It's like we don't want to say if you only know how to play one position, well, that limits how much opportunity you get to play. So if you know one, two, three, and four, well, like now you have a better chance to stay on the floor for longer. So it's all tied together as a player to a coach and whatnot. And I think if you always have that mentality of constantly wanting to learn and constantly wanting to grow, it's hard to not be successful.
So in this roster reload management era that you're in, um, so often when there's a coaching change, everyone leaves. That's what we've seen the last couple of years, and they all go in the portal. What was your sort of, as soon as we knew Nico was going to Minnesota, after I saw you guys in Seattle, pretty much, what was your mindset when it wasn't official, but we kind of all knew it was probably going to be you? But what did you do in those first few days to try to make sure there was some roster retention before, when you got the job, you got to go out in the portal and do all that?
Yeah, it was hard in the sense that you're telling people like, if I have this job, I'd love for you to stay, or if you like, let's talk about staying. So that kind of transition period was difficult, but I told all the guys like, let's just wait and see what happens first, because I don't know what's gonna happen. Like if I stay, like I want you here. If it's something else happens, well, then I'm probably gonna want you to come with me wherever I'm going. But I think that kind of going through that, waiting until I actually got the job. Then once we got the job, like literally after that press conference, every single player came up and met with me because I thought that was the most important thing. I wasn't really able to have those real conversations yet. So then we did that immediately after the press conference. And then kind of went through it with everybody, kind of discussed where I saw them, where I thought things were at for them, where I thought their next steps were, and then trying to see if those aligned. And then also, guys, in today's age, there's people are in the portal before the portal opens, and I think that's the kind of misnomer on all this stuff. Like they're in the portal already, so a lot of guys were getting hit up and getting talked to about certain stuff. So it was kind of walking it through with them and seeing what made sense for them. And there were some guys that it really wasn't a decision. They had to make those moves for whatever their reasons were. But a couple of them, like it made sense, and I wasn't going to hold them back from it. It's like I always go back to the John Calipari quote of back in the day. It's like, man, you have a chance to get drafted in the first round, whether that's a lottery or late first round. I can't really hold you back from doing that. And nowadays, it's like I can't really hold these kids back because, to be honest, some of them got some offers and situations that I don't think are basically, I don't know if you get that if even if you got drafted in the NBA. So it's kind of navigating all those pieces. There's so many moving parts to it now, as before it was just like, well, do you want to come back? You want to go sit out a year? So now there's so many more moving pieces that I think you have to discuss and go through and try to help them make the best decision for themselves. And I'll never hold a kid back if they feel like the best decision is not to stay here. Well, I don't want people to stay here that don't want to be here also, but we're going to do the best job we can to be competitive in the NIL space and then also create an environment where they truly think they're growing and changing. And I feel like if you know people are investing in you and you have a chance to grow and you're going to be challenged, at Colorado State, it's been proven that you can make the NBA from the highest levels over the last 3 years. So we have a lot of good things to sell and whatnot, and a lot of good things not to sell, but just who we are. So it's a different process, but the same kind of concepts with recruiting.
All right, so what's the roster look like?
It's good right now. Everyone was healthy today, so it was good to see the whole roster out there actually practicing today. But it's going to be interesting. The one thing that's different from last year is we have 3 5 men that are returning, so our offense has been able to take a jump start a little earlier than it was last year. So having those guys that can really get the offense moving and the pace of our offense, that's been enormous for us this summer. Now the guards are all basically brand new, except for John McConan and then obviously Darnell Slater. They both helped with that transition as well. Just two guys have been in the program that know exactly what they're doing, and they've helped those other guys grow. But the best part is we intentionally went out and got a bunch of high IQ basketball players, and so that has made it easier in the sense this summer is like these guys know how to play basketball. They've come from good programs, good environments. They've been coached the right way, so that the small nuances of what we do, it's that transition's been great. Now there's small parts of it that like just slowing down, like little details of it that we got to clean up over the next 2 weeks. But I like where we're at. I like the way the ball's moving. It still feels the same. The best compliment I got was from one of our former coaches, Sam Jones, said it feels the same. It's just different faces, but same environment. And that was the biggest compliment I can get. And I know, like everyone says, be yourself, but honestly, I am being myself, but a lot of the same foundational things that I believe in are the same stuff of why I stayed with Nico for as long as I did. And so it's going to feel the same in a lot of different ways. There will be a twist just from my own personality, but for the most part, the foundation will be very similar to what it was over the last 7 years here.
Well, and you've got a great, track record of development. And Neek is the latest one in Neek Clifford. I was thinking about, in this NIL space. Have you ever thought of how much you could have personally benefited off of your shot to beat Kansas at Northern Iowa?
Yeah, I don't know if I would have got picked up by like Duke or something that next year or whatnot, but no,
You probably would have got a deal like, the young man
I
from
got the
Oakland.
St. Peter's guy. What was his
Yeah,
name? The Buffalo Wild Wings.
Jack from Oakland 2 years ago.
Yeah, Jack from Oak. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I could have got a Buffalo Wild Wings deal out of it, but
Yes.
I don't know. I don't honestly, I don't really think about it that much anymore. It's just, it's part of it, and I'm glad that they're able to. I'm glad that guys are able to get to make money to get paid for certain things. Because if I didn't have my parents back in the day to help me out, like the $400 stipend that I was getting, that covered barely enough rent, and I don't know what I was going to eat after that. So had I not, I was lucky enough that I was in a family situation that my parents were able to give me some money on the side to help me out at times, but. I don't know what you would have done back in the day because as soon as you put cream cheese on a bagel, it was a meal. So I don't know.
Yes.
It was way different now. And so we're able to provide 3 meals a day for these guys. They obviously they're making money and they're able to help themselves out too. So I think it's great. I think there needs to be some control at some point and some more parameters and guidelines around it and boundaries. But I do think the game is going to be in a better position, hopefully going forward once we add some guardrails to it too.
All right, last thing, schedule. First year as a head coach, you have a lot of new faces. How did you balance what you want to do in the non-conference before you get into the Mountain West one last time?
Yeah, I think the goal is always to set ourselves up for an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. So, our bye games are tough. Like to be honest, all our bye games are good teams, good programs. So I don't love that. And then obviously playing Colorado at home is massive. That's always a great game. It's awesome for the state. I think it builds the state up to become more of a basketball state too when you have those rivalries constantly happening. Then we go to Loyola Chicago as well. So that's going to be a tough battle with one of the top teams in the A10. And Drew's done a phenomenal job once Porter left of building that program the way he wants to now too. So it's always hard. Then obviously we're going to the Bahamas as well with you got St. Mary's, Vanderbilt, South Florida, Western Kentucky. That's going to be a battle also, but that's the way we've always wanted to do it is set ourselves up to have an opportunity to get in that large bid and make the NCAA tournament. And I always think about it as a player. I would have been really upset had my coach not put me in position to make an at-large bid for the NCAA tournament. So we're always going to schedule that way. We have to. We're in the Mountain West right now. We'll go in the Pac-12 going forward, and we're with a bunch of other teams that's their same goals too. So the better we are in the non-conference, like I'm rooting for Boise State, I'm rooting for San Diego State. I guess I got to root for Grand Canyon this year now. So we're going to root for those teams for those first 12 games of the season because the better we are, and we've witnessed that when our league is good in the non-conference, that only sets us up to get 4 to 6 bids from the Mountain West going forward.
Well, Ali, I'm thrilled that this opportunity came for you. You earned it, you deserved it, and there's no question Colorado State's in good hands. I appreciate your time.
No, thanks, Andy. I appreciate you.